Over 60, never drink coffee with these 5 foods if you have high blood pressure. You pour your morning coffee, steam rising, that small ritual you've had for years. You reach for a familiar breakfast, maybe bacon on the plate, a glazed donut on the side, or a glass of orange juice. It feels normal, it feels safe. But for many people over 60 who are managing high blood pressure, certain common pairings with coffee can push the body into uncomfortable, even risky territory. In the next 20 minutes, I'll walk you through 5 everyday foods and combinations to avoid with your coffee, why they can be a problem, the early warning signs to watch for, and easy swaps you can make today so you don't lose the comfort of your routine. This isn't about scaring you, it's about respect. Coffee is a powerful engine, helpful, familiar, comforting, and in older bodies its effects can be stronger and longer lasting. Based on common physiological responses and typical diet patterns in older adults, certain pairings may increase the chance of dizziness, palpitations, reflux, dehydration, or interference with medication effects. I'll show you what to watch for, give practical alternatives, and end with simple rules for how to enjoy coffee safely. And one important note up front: if you take blood pressure or other medications, check with your doctor or pharmacist before making major dietary changes. If this is relevant to you or someone you care for, tap like. It helps these tips reach other seniors who need them. Combination 1. High-sodium processed breakfasts. Bacon, ham, cured meats, packaged breakfast sandwiches. Why this pairing is risky. Sodium is the most consistent dietary factor that can raise blood pressure. Highly salted breakfast items, bacon, deli ham, pre-packaged breakfast sandwiches, or even seasoned instant foods, add a quick salt load to your system. Coffee itself stimulates the sympathetic nervous system in the short term. It can tighten blood vessels slightly and raise heart rate for a period after you drink it. For many older adults, that short-lived vascular tightening plus an increased fluid load from salt can add up to a noticeable rise in blood pressure or the sensation of your heart pounding. Put simply, the salt increases fluid retention, and the caffeine nudges circulation into a higher gear. In younger adults with robust kidney function, this combination may be tolerated without obvious symptoms. In people over 60, slower kidney clearance and age-related changes in blood vessel responsiveness can make the same combo feel like a bigger hit. Symptoms you might notice. You may feel a morning headache that comes on quickly after breakfast, a sense of lightheadedness when you stand up, or a faster than usual heartbeat. Some people report a heavy, flushed feeling or more difficulty catching their breath during simple activity after a salty breakfast plus coffee. These are the body's warning lights, signals that circulation and fluid balance are being pushed. Practical swaps you can make today. If bacon or a packaged breakfast is a habit, try replacing it with unsalted protein and simple whole foods. A boiled egg, plain Greek yogurt, choose low-sodium varieties. An avocado half on whole grain toast, or a small handful of unsalted nuts gives you satisfaction and protein without the sodium surge. If you use salty spreads or processed cheeses, swap for a thin slice of fresh tomato or a smear of mashed avocado. If you do choose cured meat occasionally, keep it small and try to separate it from your coffee by 30 to 60 minutes. Quick tip, rinse canned items like canned beans or some canned soups under water to reduce surface sodium, and read labels if you buy packaged breakfasts. Look for low-sodium options. Combination 2. Sugar-laden pastries, sweet rolls, and syrupy breakfasts. Why this pairing is risky? Coffee and sugar are a common comfort combo, a cup of coffee and a donut, syrup-drenched pancakes, or a sweetened latte. Sugar causes a rapid rise in blood glucose. In some people, particularly older adults who may have insulin resistance or metabolic changes, that spike leads to an outsized insulin response. Insulin has effects beyond blood sugar. It can influence fluid balance and sympathetic nervous system activity, and is associated with inflammation when frequently spiked. When you pair a quick sugar surge with caffeine's stimulating effect, the result can be an exaggerated rush and crash cycle. You may feel jittery and wired at first, then fatigued and lightheaded as glucose falls. For someone managing high blood pressure, these swings can increase stress on the heart and circulation. Symptoms you might notice: immediate jitteriness, shakiness in the hands, a rapid heartbeat or palpitations, followed later by a slump in energy and sometimes a headache. Some people notice their blood pressure feels higher later in the morning or experience more anxiety than usual. If you have diabetes or prediabetes, these sugar spikes can be especially destabilizing. Practical swaps you can make today. Replace sugary pastries with slow-digesting carbohydrates and protein. Whole grain toast with natural nut butter, a bowl of plain oatmeal topped with a few berries, or Greek yogurt with a sprinkle of seeds gives you steady energy and pairs well with coffee. If you crave sweetness, add a few slices of fruit. An apple or banana provides fiber and a gentler glucose response than processed sugar. If you love sweet coffee drinks, try reducing sweetener gradually or switching to a small amount of cinnamon for flavor depth. Unsweetened milk alternatives like almond or oat milk can add creaminess without the sugar load, but check labels, some flavored varieties are sweetened. Combination 3. alcohol mixed with coffee, espresso martinis, hair of the dog, or a side of spirits. Why this pairing is risky. Alcohol and coffee is a common social or novelty pairing. A morning coffee with a tiny bit of spirits or the weekend espresso martini may feel harmless. But alcohol acts as a depressant on the nervous system, while caffeine is a stimulant. That contrast can mask how impaired you feel. Alcohol also dehydrates, which can reduce blood volume and trigger compensatory nervous system responses that affect heart rate and blood pressure. In older adults who are more sensitive to alcohol and sometimes take medications that amplify alcohol's effects, the combination can lead to dizziness, balance problems, or irregular heartbeats. Beyond the immediate effects, alcohol can interfere with sleep quality and blood pressure control over time. If you're on medications that affect the heart or brain, adding alcohol increases the chance of adverse effects. Symptoms you might notice. A false sense of sobriety followed by poor balance, lightheadedness, palpitations, or episodes of sudden sweating. On waking the next morning, you may experience worse sleep than usual, which can make blood pressure harder to manage across the day. Practical swaps you can make today. Keep alcohol and coffee separate. If you want a special cocktail later in the day, plan to have it after medication timing and well away from your morning caffeine. For a festive coffee-style drink without alcohol, try cold brew coffee topped with a small amount of unsweetened cream or a dairy-free creamer and a dash of cocoa or vanilla extract. If you do choose to drink, do it in moderation and talk to your clinician about how alcohol may interact with your medications. Combination 4. Highly acidic juices and citrus, orange, grapefruit, or vinegar-heavy tonics taken with coffee. Why this pairing is risky. Coffee is acidic by nature and stimulates stomach acid production. When you pair it with other acidic substances, a glass of orange juice, grapefruit juice, or vinegar-based tonics, you increase the likelihood of reflux and stomach discomfort. Reflux can wake and awake during the night and disturb sleep, which is important because poor sleep can indirectly worsen blood pressure control. There's an additional pharmacological caution with grapefruit. Grapefruit juice is known to affect the metabolism of several commonly prescribed medications. That interaction occurs because grapefruit compounds can slow the enzyme systems in the gut and liver that break down certain drugs, potentially increasing their levels in the bloodstream. For that reason, if you regularly take medication, you should check with your pharmacist about grapefruit and your prescriptions. While grapefruit doesn't directly interact with coffee, having both at once can increase gastric irritation and create digestive distress for sensitive people. Symptoms you might notice. A sour or burning sensation in the chest or throat, burping, nausea after breakfast, or a lingering sour taste. If reflux wakes you during the night, you may experience daytime tiredness and headaches. Some people also report that acidic foods make them feel more anxious or jittery when combined with coffee. Practical swaps you can make today. Separate acidic drinks from your coffee by at least 30 to 60 minutes. If you enjoy citrus, have it with a meal later in the morning rather than alongside your coffee. Choose low-acid options for your morning liquid: water, a small glass of milk or milk alternative, or a mild herbal tea. If you're sensitive to acid but love fruit, try non-citrus fruits like melon or bananas with your coffee instead. If you take medications, especially those you know have food interactions, ask your pharmacist whether grapefruit is on your avoid list. It's better to be safe than sorry. Combination 5. Concentrated stimulant or supplement mixes, energy shots, high caffeine boosters, pre-workout mixes mixed with coffee. Why this pairing is risky. Stacking stimulants is one of the fastest ways to take your cardiovascular system out of its comfort zone. Coffee already delivers a dose of caffeine and other active compounds that stimulate your nervous system, increase alertness, and in many people raise heart rate and blood pressure transiently. Adding an energy shot, a high caffeine supplement, or a pre-workout powder on top of your coffee multiplies that effect. In younger people, that might feel like a productivity boost. In many older adults, it can trigger palpitations, tremors, anxiety, and in rare cases, irregular heart rhythms. Older adults often have changes in heart conduction and blood pressure regulation, and may be taking medications that further alter heart rate or blood pressure. Combining stimulants can also worsen anxiety and make it harder to sense dehydration or the need to slow down. Symptoms you might notice. Sudden racing heart, tremor in the hands, intense anxiety, dizziness, or a sense of imminent fainting. Some people experience palpitations that feel like a flip-flop in the chest or very fast beats. These are not normal sensations and should prompt you to stop stimulants and get medical advice if they persist. Practical swaps you can make today. Pick one source of caffeine and stick with it. If you want a morning boost, choose either a small, standard cup of coffee, 6 to 8 ounces, or an energy product, not both. Consider decaffeinated coffee if you're caffeine sensitive, or smaller portions of coffee with added protein to prolong energy without more caffeine. If you exercise and typically use a pre-workout mix, consider timing it away from your coffee. For example, drink your coffee after your workout or switch to a low-stimulant pre-workout. And always check the labels of supplements for total caffeine content. Many contain surprising amounts.
How to drink coffee the right way. Simple daily rules for seniors with high blood pressure. Coffee doesn't have to be off the menu. You can keep your ritual and reduce risk by following a few consistent habits. Think of these as respectful rules for a powerful friend. 1. General portion guidance. 1 standard cup, 6 to 8 ounces, of caffeinated coffee in the morning is a reasonable general guideline. This is not a medical prescription. It's a practical suggestion based on how older adults often respond. If you feel fine with more, listen to your body, but if you notice palpitations, tremor, or lightheadedness after larger amounts, reduce your portion. 2. Timing matters. Consider drinking coffee on a light stomach or 20 to 30 minutes before a heavy, salty, or sugary meal. A little separation between caffeine and problematic foods reduces the chance of compounding effects. If you like coffee with breakfast, have a small glass of water first, sip your coffee slowly, and delay especially salty or sweet foods. 3. Hydrate first. Drink a glass of water before your coffee. Many older adults are mildly dehydrated in the morning. Water helps blunt the acute vascular effect of caffeine, supports kidney function, and reduces the sensation of lightheadedness. A simple routine, a glass of water when you wake, followed by coffee, can make a big difference. 4. Keep added sugar and sodium low. Skip sugary syrups and high-sodium sides. Flavor coffee with a touch of cinnamon, a drop of vanilla extract, or a small amount of unsweetened milk or milk alternative. Steer clear of pre-made flavored creamers that are high in sugar and sodium. 5. Prefer plain or mildly prepared coffee, black or black with a splash of milk or milk alternative. Cold brew coffee tends to be lower in perceived acidity for many people, and brewing methods influence taste and stomach tolerance. If you're prone to reflux, try cold brew or a low-acid coffee brand. If you add milk, choose unsweetened options and watch total portion size. 6. Don't stack stimulants. Avoid mixing coffee with energy shots, high-caffeine supplements, or other stimulant products. If your daily routine includes exercise supplements, plan them at a different time than your coffee. If you rely on multiple stimulants for energy, speak with your clinician about safer alternatives. 7. Space alcohol and coffee. Avoid drinking alcohol alongside coffee and avoid coffee as a mask for morning alcohol consumption. If you enjoy an occasional cocktail, separate that from your morning caffeine and be mindful of alcohol's dehydrating and heart-stressing effects. 8. Rotate beverages. Give your body regular breaks. Try replacing coffee with green tea, herbal tea, or warm water with lemon on some days. Decaffeinated coffee is another option for mornings where you want the ritual without the caffeine load. 9. Watch symptoms and act early. Pay attention to dizziness, palpitations, fainting, chest discomfort, sudden severe headache, or prolonged lightheadedness. If you notice these after your coffee or a specific pairing, stop the combination and call your clinician or seek urgent help if symptoms are severe. For milder symptoms, schedule a check-in with your doctor to review blood pressure control and your medications. 10. Medication check. Consult your pharmacist or physician. If you take blood pressure medication, blood thinners, statins, antidepressants, or other regular prescriptions, ask a pharmacist whether any foods, not only coffee, may affect drug metabolism. Grapefruit is a classic example of a food that can interact with medications, so it's worth asking. What to do if you feel symptoms after coffee? If you experience a rapid heartbeat, severe dizziness, confusion, fainting, chest pain, or difficulty breathing after drinking coffee and eating certain foods, treat it seriously. Stop the combination, sit or lie down in a safe place, and seek medical attention if symptoms don't improve quickly. For milder symptoms like transient palpitations or a lightheaded feeling that resolves, note what you consumed and discuss it with your clinician at your next visit. Real-world examples to make this concrete. Mrs. Ramirez, 72, loved her morning bacon and coffee. She woke one morning dizzy and had trouble standing up with her heart racing. She switched to a boiled egg and avocado toast and began drinking a glass of water before her coffee. Within a week, she noticed fewer dizzy spells and steadier mornings. Mr. Lane, 67, always had a large sweetened latte and a pastry. He felt wired after breakfast and crashed by mid-morning. He replaced the pastry with oatmeal topped with a few nuts and reduced the latte sweetener gradually. He found his energy was steadier and that he felt less anxious after breakfast. A caregiver preparing breakfast for an older adult with hypertension. Choose low-sodium, low-sugar options by default. Keep a pitcher of water on the counter so both of you can hydrate before coffee, and avoid keeping energy shots or stimulant supplements in plain sight where they might be used automatically. Small changes that add up. You don't have to overhaul your life overnight. Small swaps matter. Move salty meats away from your morning plate. Choose one source of caffeine, limit sugar, hydrate, and be mindful of acidic juices and alcohol. These are incremental shifts you can try tomorrow morning. Common questions people ask. Q. What about decaf?
Decaffeinated coffee removes most of the caffeine, but not necessarily all biological effects of coffee. If you're sensitive to caffeine, decaf is a good option that preserves ritual without as much stimulation. Try decaf if palpitations or anxiety are problems. Q. I take blood pressure meds. Can I still drink coffee? In most cases, yes, but timing and portions matter.
Caffeine can reduce the effect of some blood pressure medications in certain circumstances, and some medications can interact with other foods, like grapefruit. Always consult your prescribing clinician or pharmacist for personalized advice. Question: is tea safer than coffee? Tea often contains less caffeine per cup than coffee, and may be better tolerated if caffeine sensitivity is a concern. Herbal teas that are naturally caffeine-free are a safe alternative for variety. Green tea has some caffeine, but less than a typical coffee cup. Question: are instant coffees worse? The brewing method changes flavor and sometimes perceived acidity, but the core issues are caffeine, sodium from added items, sugar, and added stimulants. Choose the brew you tolerate best and pair it wisely. A short checklist to use every morning. Drink 1 glass of water when you wake. Pour a standard cup of coffee, 6 to 8 ounces if you choose caffeinated. Sip it slowly. Avoid pairing that cup with salty, sugary, alcoholic, highly acidic, or stimulant-laden foods. If you want a solid breakfast, choose unsalted protein, whole grains, or fruit. Monitor how you feel for 30 to 60 minutes after breakfast. Note any dizziness, palpitations, or severe headaches and act accordingly. If you're on medications, have periodic check-ins with your pharmacist to confirm safe food combinations. Final takeaway: coffee can be a wonderful part of your morning. For people over 60 with high blood pressure, though, certain everyday pairings can amplify risk. High-sodium processed breakfasts, sugar-laden pastries, alcohol mixed with coffee, highly acidic juices or vinegars, and concentrated stimulant boosters. Each of these combinations can, in different ways, increase the chance of dizziness, palpitations, reflux, or worse sleep and make blood pressure management harder. The good news is you don't have to give up coffee. You can make small, practical changes. Hydrate, limit portion size, avoid stacking stimulants, separate coffee from acidic drinks and alcohol, and choose low-sodium, low-sugar breakfast alternatives. If you take blood pressure medications or other prescriptions, consult your doctor or pharmacist before making major dietary changes. If you experience severe symptoms, chest pain, fainting, severe shortness of breath, or very rapid heartbeats, seek immediate medical attention. If you found this helpful, please subscribe for more evidence-based senior health tips and share this with a friend or family member over 60 who drinks coffee daily. Small pairing choices around your cup can make a big difference. Respect the power of that little ritual and keep your mornings safe and satisfying.